Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new edition of the Gamecity Hamburg XP Boost series. I'm Maggie. I'm a project manager at Gamecity Hamburg, and I will be your host for tonight. And for everybody who might not be familiar with us yet, Gamecity Hamburg is the local initiative to support the games industry here in our lovely city of Hamburg in Germany. But apart from our local events, we also host several formats to support indie game developers all around the world. So if you are an indie dev looking for input, just head over to our YouTube channel or to our website and check out, for example, our XP Boost, the whole series, or also the Game Starter series, which might also be interesting to you. But please do that. Don't do that just now, or else you would miss a very insightful talk about the importance and also the setup of demos on Steam by one of our very favorite speakers. You probably already know his name from many brilliant GDC talks or his How to Market a Game website. Thank you for being here, Chris Zukowski.
Hey, Hamburg, how's it going? I love to see you. Thank you so much for having me. Gamecity Hamburg XP Boost. I'm ready to talk about demos. So let's do it. I don't even want to do all these introductions. So let's talk about demos. So I grew up in the 90s. Like, I'm a 90s kid. It was like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Clinton. I'm a US citizen, so we were all watching Cristiano Gucci. It was like 92. Yeah, gold medal, ice skater. This was the 90s. And this was when I got my first bit of shareware. It was on this disc. It's called Wolfenstein 3D. This is how we distributed video games before the internet was ubiquitous. It was just, you would just hand out discs. This is shareware. You could actually mark games before the internet, kids. It was crazy. All right. People would put demos in magazines. You would go to like like a toy store, and there would just be a demo station. Xbox One, the early thing, you could fire it up, and there's a digital one. It was hot. Demos were hot. They were everywhere. That's how you marketed a game back in the day. And then for some reason, demos just disappeared. Okay. And then there was a dark age. I don't know if it was free to play. Maybe it was the mobile experience. I don't know why, but we just lost demos. They just disappeared for a long time. But I'm here to talk today because demos are back. We are back in the great ages of demos. I am so happy they're back. I love demos. They are the greatest thing. I want to make you all excited about demos. There are all places like Next Fest, which is coming up in just a few days. You'll see it right here. Hundreds of demos. They have to change this because there's now thousands of demos. I think I read something that's like 3,000 demos already signed up for Next Fest for the next Fest. Demos are everywhere now, and they're hot. Like this game Peglin, it got its big notoriety from demos. Look at this. This is streamers. Every red square you see, this is one streamer's like history of videos that they made on YouTube. You'll notice that. Look at how many times this demo for this game Peglin. This is a demo. This isn't even the full game. This streamer played this demo for Peglin like every day or every week for like months. It's amazing. Demos are so hot. Demos are amazing. This game Dome Keeper got 40,000 wish lists in 1 month because of a demo. Their demo got them 40,000 wish lists. And this is not a rare thing. Like, you can see exactly. They were trying the old marketing, the old, like social media, post your gifts on social media. They were trying that really hard for months and months and months and months and months. Nothing was working. The game wasn't taking off. Then they launched their demo. Boom. Their wish lists and followers took off. This is hot. This is demos. Okay. And this isn't just like one story survivorship bias. A lot of games. Here's Mob Factory, a little bit more modest takeoff, but you can see the moment they put their demo out right here. I put a big red arrow. I don't need to put the arrow. You know when the demo's taken off. Look at it. It's right here. Isn't that great? It's amazing. You can see the moment they launch a demo. It's hot. Why wouldn't you make a demo? You can look. This is a different game. Just recently, they got into, I think, a coverage from press. I think they got some trailer featuring then, the big boring time period. And then they launched a demo for Steam's Next Fest. And then they did a prologue trick, which we'll kind of talk about, but the prologue trick doesn't work as much anymore. But you can see this is their wish list chart for Eden Crafters. once the demo's live, stuff just takes off. They don't have this long flat line. You can see these bumps like, oh, I tweeted. Oh, tweet. Oh, great. Social media pales in comparison to the power of a demo. Demos are so hot right now. Here's Soulstone Survivors, another game that did very well. They tried their old, social media marketing. Nothing worked. Launched that demo. Boom, took off. Prologue, which doesn't work anymore. We'll talk about that. And then they did the demo again for Next Fest. Demos are what make games hot. It's amazing. So I'm here to say it's back in the old days. Demos are back, folks. But like I said, there was a long kind of dark ages. It's like the libraries of Alexandria burned. We forgot as developers how to make a good demo. Okay. We just lost it. It's so sad. I think the internet made us lazy or something. I don't know why. So what I did was I went back in time. Well, went back in the time in my mind by reading some stuff, watching some reading, watching some old videos about this stuff. I actually, for this talk, went back and talked to some old experts about how to make demos back in the day to try and bring their knowledge of the past that we had lost in the fires of social media and the internet and brought it back to current day. So I talked to George Broussard, Kevin Ryan, Jake Burkett. I didn't talk to Samus McNally because he tragically died a number of years ago. But if you know the IGF awards, Samus McNally, the award for the best indie game of the year is named after him because he was a very influential indie game developer long before indies were like the thing. So we're going to be taking a look at some of the knowledge that these guys taught us back in the day. Another great book. I also talked to this guy, Richard Moss, got some tips from him. He wrote a whole book called Shareware Heroes. So I got a lot of stories and anecdotes from him. But there's a really good book, Shareware Heroes. You can just find it at your favorite, probably online bookstore. I don't think this is like at your local bookstore. It's kind of a niche book, but look it up. It's a good book. Get it. It's all about Shareware. All right. So this is what we're going to talk today. Demos. Why do we have demos? Why? How to design one, how to market one, how to know if it works, and why you shouldn't do a demo, or maybe you should. But we're going to talk about that today. So anyway, who am I? My name's Chris Zukowski. I run this site called howtomarketagame.com. This is it. Every week, I write a blog post about marketing, various things like how games are doing. I also have a course called howtomakeasteampage.com, and it's free. It's totally free. You just sign up and I teach you all the steps to make a Steam page, like all little tricks and stuff. Now, I'll be honest, it's a little out of date because Steam has been changing how the Steam pages work. Like every day they roll out a new change. I'm going to update this class, but once Steam kind of settles down with the changes, because every week they're doing some change, I'm just like, whoa. So some of this stuff will be out of date. I'm just going to give you the warning. And I will be updating it once they kind of settle on the final meta. So stuff's changing. But for the most part, the stuff isn't that different. I do say a couple times like, oh, link off to your Discord or something. Can't do that anymore. So don't do that. And then don't yell at me. All right. But my favorite thing is I'm starting with all this writing that I've done. I'm starting to get into some games. This is Tiny Glade. They launched just this week and they're mega hit. They already have 3,000 reviews and they launched like 3 days ago. And look who they put me in the credits. Look at that, for his most excellent marketing courses. This is all I need. My life is done. Like I did it. And look, they thank their moms, and who is right under their moms? Boom, Chris Zukowski. I'm just a little bit less exciting than your mom. It's like, here's your moms. I'm just a little bit less cool than your moms, which is awesome. That's where I want to be. It's moms first, then Chris Zukowski. So this broke my heart. This is awesome. I love this. So this is all I need. Okay. So awesome stuff. Okay. So anyway, so where does this data come from? Like, I'm going to say a lot of charts and I'm going to reference case studies. Where do I get my data? Okay. So I do some consulting for publishers, that sort of stuff. I do broad-based surveys of indies. So I have a mailing list and I just send out to all the indies who subscribe to my mailing list. And I say, hey, how many wish lists did you get when you did X? And then people will submit their data and I compile the data and I put it into charts. So that's where some of that stuff comes from. I also have a channel on my Discord called Share Your Numbers, where indies just in public transparency share like, hey, I just got into this festival and we got 1,000 wish lists and stuff like that. So we get some data from there. And then I also have other market research from other companies and people like Simon Carlis at Game Discover Co., Jared Tan. There's many other places where they've published good data. So recommend signing up for their newsletter. Really good stuff. So there we go. Now, I've started seeing this trend. People like, I've watched all your videos, I've watched everything on YouTube and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you want to be the cool kid. And I'm like, so, well, are you on the mailing list? They're like, no, I'm not. I should I? It's like, yes, this is the cool kid. I don't care about the YouTube. I mean, I do. I'm happy to be here on YouTube. I'm glad to be on YouTube here. But where the really cool stuff happens is howtomarketagame.com/free. I give you a free book. And see, here's the thing is, to do well on YouTube, you just have to be like, you should be crazy. And so I have to like kind of cut down some of what I say so that it's more entertaining. If you want the real data, it's on the blog, because that's where you can really get into the depths. So this is where the good stuff comes. When you're watching me just on YouTube, you're missing most of the data. Okay. You're just getting the fancy, flashy stuff. But you're a real marketer. So you want to go for the real stuff, which is howtomarketagame.com/free to get the free book. And every week you'll get my newsletter. That's how it works. It's super fun. It's more fun than YouTube. You know what's more fun than YouTube? Reading. Okay. Reading's cool, kids. So sign up for the newsletter. Read it every week. It's really fun. And you'll be the cool Pooh Bear. Okay. All right. So real data here. I have a lot of data, and people always ask me, because I've always shared data. They're like, is this normal? Am I normal? Like, I just got 1,000 wish lists. Am I normal? So yes, I get this from the data. You're totally normal. I'll tell you what these are. And that's what you're going to be seeing here is real data to kind of answer that question. Doctor, am I normal? Okay. So let's start at the top. Why even have a demo? Okay. So one of these surveys that I did, I was like, where'd you get your wish list? I asked hundreds of people. I got hundreds of game developers to share me their data. And then I graphed all their spikes of their wish list data. And the two biggest ones that consistently get people wish lists are online festivals and streamers. Okay. And you know what you need to get a streamer to play your game and to get into one of these online festivals? A demo. A demo is the key that unlocks the two biggest marketing channels for your games. Yes, I know I see TikTok like lodged in here. You kind of have to have a special type of game to do well on TikTok. If you've got the right type of game, TikTok works very well. But for most games, they're going to get most of their visibility from streamers playing their demo and festivals featuring their demo. The demo is the key that unlocks most of your marketing, okay? Now, when I say festivals, I do not mean these in-person festivals, where you have a booth and you have to stand in front of a booth and you have to get COVID shot in your face. That's not what I'm talking here, where you have to like put down your development and like stop doing developing and then go talk to people. No, these actually, I'm not a fan of them. Don't tell anybody, just you and me. I don't really like these. They're expensive. Like I said, you get COVID, then you have to stand around for hours. Standing sucks. After I'm done with this, I'm going to sit back down again. Standing kind of sucks after a while. These aren't that great. If you don't have to, don't do these. Okay. The festivals I'm talking about where they play your demo is awesome. Look, these people are sitting. You get to sit. Okay. You get to sit for these festivals. They're online. What is you apply. Somebody says your game's cool. You get in the festival. And then on a random date, Steam gets taken over. This is the front page of Steam, gets taken over by whatever this festival is. And if you were one of the lucky ones to be curated in, you get your game featured here. You can sit all day and your game is getting marketed for you. This will get you thousands of wish lists. This will get you like 100 wish lists. I'm serious. Like these big festivals where you spend $1,000 to get into and you have to stand around all day, not working on your game, you get like 100 wish lists. These, the big ones where you can sit down, you get like 1,000 wish lists. You pick which one. I like the online ones, but that's what I'm talking about. So from here on out, whenever I say the word festivals, I mean these, not these. Okay. All right. So here's like the festivals. Now, the reason the demo is so awesome, they usually have a section. If they let you in without a demo, they usually have a section called try the demo or something. And they feature all the games that have demos. Okay. And usually the games with demos get taken to the top because everybody wants to play free video games. And the demos come up here. This festival actually allowed games without demos to be entered. Guess where they put those games that don't have demos? Way at the bottom. They're like, hey, thanks for showing up, but you're kind of not excited because you don't have a demo. We're going to stick you down here in the basement. Okay. That's where the non-demo games got put. Okay. You also want a demo because streamers cannot play screenshots. Okay. They don't just stand there and like, look at these screenshots. Let's just look at them. Here's a GIF. Let's look at it. They don't really do that. They have to play something. And so a demo allows you, this is the secret hack. A demo allows you to get streamer coverage way before your game releases. Because back in the days before demos, you know, in this dark ages, you would have people would just wait for a streamer to play their game like 1 week before launch. That is too late. With a demo, a streamer can play your game way before launch. It's awesome. And they like to. Here's that streamer again that would play Peglin's demo every week for months. This is awesome. Okay, this is what you want. Okay, so let me explain why this is so awesome for a streamer to play your game way before launch. Real quick. So Valve, in these videos, you can look this up on YouTube, stream visibility, how games get surfaced. They did an open book. They were like, this is how the algorithm works. They just told you. And they said player interest drives visibility. And what that means in marketing speak and legal speak is if a big influx of people come to your Steam page and wishlist your game, Valve takes note and they're like, oh, this game's getting a lot of interest and a lot of visibility. And we didn't send this traffic. It just came from the internet. This must mean the game's hot because asset flip junk games that are not fun don't get huge influxes of visibility and wish lists. So what they're saying here is if you bring a lot of outside traffic and everybody wish lists you, and don't worry about the conversion rate, that doesn't matter. It's purely like, did you get a lot of wish lists one day? And it was that. Valve says, this game is hot. We're going to match that and also give you visibility. So what you're doing by getting a bunch of streamers to play your game, your demo, is you're getting the Valve Steam algorithm to go, whoa, this is a real game. We're going to start actually marketing this. And then Steam will drive you views. They'll give you views. And so you saw, let me see if I've got an example here. You know, when I was showing those charts, I didn't have one pulled. That chart where it was like really flat and then the demo got launched and then the wish list just took off. A lot of that is not just the streamer playing the demo. A lot of it is also the Steam algorithm going, oh, this is a real game. We should actually market this thing. And then Steam markets the game for you. This is the answer, folks. This is what it is you need the Steam algorithm to turn on you and actually say, we're going to market your game for you. That's the secret. It's not how many like retweets and likes you can get on your silly social media posts. That doesn't matter. You want the Valve algorithm to push you. That's the secret to life right there. Okay. All right. So here's what it is. Even if a streamer plays your game, because a lot of people are like, well, if I play the demo, if I put out my demo, then the streamer is going to play it and then they're going to get bored and all the people who saw it are going to get bored and then they're not going to want to play, they're not going to want to play your game. Okay, here's how it works. A streamer plays a game, even if they're like, yeah, it's an okay game. It's okay. There is still a lot of people who are excited just because the streamer plays. So even if the streamer doesn't like your game, they inspire these people to do it. And so people are like, well, these people just saw the answer when the streamer played it. Yes, but remember what I told you about the Steam algorithm? All these people who are somewhat interested in your game are like wishlisting it, right? And so the Steam algorithm sees all these people wishlist it, and then the Steam algorithm is triggered, and then the Steam algorithm shows it to all these extra people, okay? So it doesn't matter at the individual level whether somebody played and liked your demo. It doesn't matter. It's the second order effect. It's this effect that has the power. All these people didn't even know this streamer existed. They don't even know why. All of a sudden, they just fired up Steam and your game's getting recommended on the front page. And they're like, seems interesting. I like this. They play the demo or just wishlist it. They don't even sometimes play the demo. They're just like, huh, interesting. And they'll play it. That's what it is. This is it. This is the secret right here. It's the Steam algorithm getting triggered by this guy whose users wishlist it, trigger this. That's the secret. This is the whole secret to how it works right there. Okay. And that's what happens. This is this Game Eden crafters I was talking about. They did some marketing. It didn't really, like the Steam algorithm never really got triggered. A couple times back here, I was like, yeah, boop. I thought it would have been triggered by that. It wasn't enough. It wasn't until the demo came out. Steam Next Fest, some streamers found it, did all this stuff. This is what the triggered algorithm looks like. See how it's like the resting wish list rate? Yeah, it's kind of like wiggly here, but you'll see the baseline is kind of like this. The baseline's here. That's much better than the baseline before it got triggered. See where it was on the floor? This is what I mean when I say the wish list got triggered, the algorithm got triggered. A lot of this traffic, and I don't know precisely the percentage, but a lot of this traffic is the YouTube algorithm, but also like the Steam algorithm, just like, hey, you might like this demo. You played this other game. You're going to like this. When Steam recommends you, this is when you get this, what I call the fat tail, which is just like your resting wish list rate. In this case, is like bouncing around 1,000. Imagine that. Well, it's more like 700 because it's like 700. Imagine 700 a day for doing nothing. They're just sitting down. That's a big theme today. Sitting down where they're standing. You're sitting. You don't even have to get COVID. You're just sitting here getting 700 wish lists a day. This is awesome. This is what the whole game's about. This is why you do demos right here. Okay. All right. So hopefully you're like, oh, maybe I'll do a demo. Okay. All right. Here's how to design it. Decided the duration. It doesn't matter. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you want. I recommend no more than like a third of your game. If you're like, Garrett, Chris, my game's only 3 hours. Pick 1 hour. Like it should never be more than a third of your game. It just depends on what kind of game you're making, but just enough to like get people going, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I'd say just pick a duration, 30, 60 minutes. You pick it, you decide. It doesn't matter. There's no law to the universe. Here's Jake Burkett. I asked him, how do you design a demo? Because part of Big Fish Games, which is a totally separate casual platform from Steam. I said, how do you do it? This was his, because I actually asked him, I said, how do you design a demo? They rely on demos in Big Fish. He said, the main thing was to grab people immediately. I put it in bold so that you'd read this immediately so they stick around for the demo. This meant really good onboarding with easy tutorial and showing off some cool stuff. Then you introduce new mechanics and metagame item power-ups at a good rate in the first hour. This is how you design a demo, okay? I like to call it en media res. Remember how like Star Wars, it just started with like a spaceship battle? That was it. They didn't like have a big preamble. They actually used to have a preamble, then they edited it out because they realized it was boring. So they just started with a giant spaceship battle at the beginning of the movie. This is what you do. Put your most exciting bit right at the beginning of the demo. Don't start your demo with like a big tutorial like, here's how you move forward, push up. Here's how you do it, push A. No, start it in the middle of an awesome battle. Get exciting. Start it right at the front. And actually, Jake reminded me, there used to be, remember the golden days of demos? There's this game called Xenon 2 Amiga. They would tease the abilities. You could get this power up right at the beginning of the demo. Like the demo came and there was a power up that fell. And if you collected it, you actually got all the power ups. Like you like jumped all the way up to the top. It was like the beginning of a Metroid game. You got all the upgrades right at the start and you could play the demo fully powered. So you could see how awesome the game is right at the start. Don't hold back. You're trying to entice people. And then it was an optional ability. So if you wanted to be like, okay, I like this game, I want to see what it's like without these abilities, I want to see the real thing, you would just let that power up fall and you wouldn't collect it. And then you'd power up the normal way. Just cut to the chase, cut out all the crap. Just get to the good spaceship coming right over you. Start in the middle of it. Okay. And this kind of goes to the next one. Minimize your tutorial. Nobody wants to play a demo that is just an hour-long tutorial. That is awful. That is awful. Most developers, most gamers who play a demo on Steam know how video games work. So cut out all the stuff that is like basic video game lessons, like here's how to move forward and stuff. They'll figure it out. You can minimize friction by reducing most of the tutorial. So what Jake said was he would do, this is his structure for his demo. Now he would do, this is a card battle, solitaire game. It was about an hour long. And so he would have 2 chapters and then he'd do the upgrade shop. 3 levels, each bar is a level, upgrade shop, 5 upgrade shop. So notice how he does more faster at the beginning. And then as people get deeper into the tutorial or the demo, it starts getting more and more like longer play sessions. So there's more levels before you get to the upgrade shop. Right here, within the first 2 levels, you get to see all the upgrades. You get to see all the stuff. It's a quick showing off everything that's in the game. Don't string them along. You want to get right into the action, okay? So right up front, establish the goal. This is the next tip. You have to establish Why are they playing the demo? And what is the end state of the demo? It doesn't have to be the end state of the game. And it doesn't have to be like, you have to complete this dragon. You have to beat this dragon. I find a lot of demos, I'm not sure if I'm done with the demo yet. Like I play a lot of demos and I'm just like, okay, is this the end of the demo? What is my goal? So I like this game. The demo's still live. The game's still under development. It's called Do Not Buy This Game. You turn the first corner and you're spotted this. It's a button. And the narrative says, do not go towards that button, please. And this game's called Do Not Buy This Game. And they tell you, do not go towards that button. And you know, you got to go towards the button. So they've already established within the first second, your goal for this demo is to push that button. That's what they established right there. I love it. That's what your game demo should be. It's like, here's this boss. You've got to beat this boss. That's awesome. Set it up right there. Okay. Peglin does the classic Slay the Spire, branching thing. What do? You start up here. Boss is down here. This is the demo. This is the full demo. Okay. They're establishing you're up here. This is your goal. Beat this boss. It is clear. It has a straightforward thing, and it's up to you to play it over and over and over again. Remember, lots of people played this demo over and over, and it's the repetition of going through these alternate branching paths, and this was randomized a little bit. They actually would swap out different bosses, but it was very clear. You will beat this demo by getting to here. That is the secret to a demo. Set it up. Like, here's what your goal is. Here is George Brizard, from Apogee, who made Duke Nukem 3D. He said, end the demo on a bit of a hook, a cliffhanger, a story beat, etc. You can't just lop the game off at 30 minutes or whatever and call that a demo. Put some work into making it cool, making it a tool that makes people think, hell yeah, I need more now. That's the secret. End the demo on a cliffhanger. You don't want to leave them like, yeah, I think I got it. I understand the game. No, you want to beat that final boss of the demo. And then it's like, and here's the power that you're going to get. Oh, but the power only comes when they buy the full game. Buy it now. Wish list now. That's the secret. You got to leave them in a chance of wanting just a bit more. Okay. And when I say a bit more, and let me go back one more point on this. A lot of people say, I have a narrative game. Can I do a demo? You have it easier because you have a narrative game, because you can tell a story, and stories end on cliffhangers. Stories invented cliffhangers, not video games. So you have it easier. It's easier to make a cliffhanger when there's a narrative structure, because you can be like, oh, and guess what? The killer was her brother. And then you're like, what? And then it ends, and it's like, demo's over. And you're like, what? I got to find out about who the killer was, and it was her brother? Oh, no way. It's much easier as a narrative game to end on a cliffhanger. Be exciting. Have an exciting ending to your demo, okay? And you narrative designers, you're the experts at this. You tell us how to end on an exciting thing. You're not in a disadvantage. You're at an advantage. So end on a cliffhanger, folks. All right, tip 5. You got to tell people what they're missing out by not buying the full game. Because here's the thing. Sometimes people play a demo and they're like, yeah, it's kind of cool game, but just some kind of shallow. And that's because it seemed shallow because you don't want to give everybody the abilities. So you have to walk this line of telling people what is excluded from the demo because it's in the full game, or what is being excluded from the demo just because that's the depth of the game. Steam players like deep games with lots of power-ups, big maps. Everything has to be 120%, right, on Steam games. So you need to tell people what they're missing out by not buying the full game. This is a really cool game. It's Death Trash is this game. I usually include the icon. So it's kind of an open world game. And you'll notice in the demo, you could only play in the small area. And where you couldn't go, it would say demo. It would lock out the area. So you could actually bump into a wall and be like, oh, I can't get through there because it's in the full game. Oh, look at how far I could go in the full game. You need to tell people what is exclusive to the demo, okay? So I asked Kevin Ryan, who made a classic game, The Incredible Machine, back in the day, classic shareware designer, hit that sweet spot of giving them enough, but not too much. And that seems to be a mixture of art and science and maybe some lucky magic too. I love lucky magic. You only get this from experience about how much to put in your demo. You can't, I don't know. I'm not a game designer. This is for you to figure out. You're the game designers. You tell me how to make a good game that's ends on a fun cliffhanger. I interviewed John Romero. I met him at GDC. That's me and John Romero. And he said that his demo for Wolfenstein was 10 levels, a boss, and we just knew that was right. This is what you do: 10 levels and a boss. And so I said, like, how did you know 10 levels and a boss? He was like, we just knew. We just did it enough and we just knew. That's the answer. Your first game is probably going to fail, folks. I'm just going to tell you right up now. I'm going to give you the other secret. Your first game is probably going to fail, and that's okay. Nobody does well their first time for anything. Writing your name, riding a bike, baking cookies. Your first attempts at stuff fail. They just do. But by making more games, please release more, you start to get a sense. You're like, you know what? People were saying the demo was too long, or they had enough, or you look at your metrics and you're like, people are getting bored. Well, okay. With experience, you just learn where to put it. And that's that lucky magic, that the creator from Dynamics was saying. He said, it's a mixture of art and science. You learn the art and science by just releasing more games. You got to make more games, folks. Just make more, okay? All right, so tip number 7, ensure players continue through and wishlist. This is important because guess what? Demos are just a machine to take people from being aware to your game to being interested to it. You have to tell people, hey, you're playing this game. You know what? You're going to want the full version. You want to make sure that they push this button, which is also called a call to action. Always have a call to action in your demo. Okay. Always. What other reason are you creating this demo? Okay. Even back in the day, in the shareware day, when you exited the demo for Doom, here's the actual ending screen. This is what they actually used to look like. But right at the end, it says order Doom. And then they told you how to order it. They were like, this is how you order Doom. I wouldn't have put this much text on here. I mean, this is the 90s. I didn't quite know. I would just say like order Doom. And then I would just put this number. See how they buried it way down in here? Okay. I would not put the call to action this low. Okay. It would just be like all the only thing they would see. But the idea is right. You need to tell people after they're done playing your demo to go do something. Okay. You want to complain about Steam's 30%. You're like, oh man, Steam takes 30% of our money. You used to have to hire somebody to pick up a telephone to order when somebody wanted to buy your game. You used to have to hire somebody and buy a 1-800 number. Isn't that nuts? There was no Steam where you could upload games. You had to be like, okay, we're going to hire somebody to take orders. 30% is nothing compared to having to hire somebody just to answer the telephone. Okay. We've got it easier today, folks. I'm telling you. All right. Side note. That was a side note about how we actually have it easier. Stop complaining. All right. I know your life's probably hard, but it was really hard to be an indie game back then. All right. So anyway, here's where you put the CTA, which is call to action. Here's where you put it. Okay. Put it on the start screen, put it on the pause screen, put it on the quit screen, and then put it again on another screen when you beat the demo. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay. Here's the start screen. This is the start screen for Peglin right down here. See here it says wish list on Steam. I didn't include the GIF, but that text actually goes with this. It goes like wish list on Steam. So you can't miss it. Okay. It's nice and bright. It's wiggly. And you push that button and you wish list on Steam. Here's another game called Cafe Owner Simulator right here. See? It says add to Steam. Right there. That's what you want. You want right on the front menu telling people to go wish list it. Okay. Then you also want it on the pause menu. So this is a game called Terra Nil, their demo. When you paused it, it says wishlist Terra Nil. Right there, the top one. It's not even the bottom one. They didn't hide it in the middle. They didn't put it on the bottom. They put it right at the top. Wishlist Terra Nil. That's what you want on the pause screen. Okay. Next place to put it is when you quit. If you quit the demo, this is Wandering Village. This is an awesome quit screen. Look at the choices. Hey, thanks for playing. Do you want to just go to the, do you just want to quit or do you want to wish list? Right there. It reminds you, hey, you're quitting. Don't forget to wish list. That's it. And it was a nice call to action. It was kind of like, hey, we're just a small studio. We need your help. That's cool. And they give you a little kissy face, little cute kissy face. That's what you want. And then at the end of the demo, so not to spoil this, it's about 17-minute long demo. You still play it. It's a good demo. It really teaches everything I do. I'm just going to spoil it here. You go up to this button and you finally get a chance to push it. And then it brings up this thing that says wish list on Steam. This is a clear call to action when you beat the game. Okay. It's a giant button and it says, look, wish list on Steam. So you should have it again if they beat the demo. Now, assuming your demo has a nice end state, they have an end boss, you should do that, have a cliffhanger, and then say wish list on Steam. That's it. So again, 4 places to do it. And when you do this thing where it's like a button that says wishlist on Steam, you want to use the Steam API to do the overlay button and search it. It's a little bit different for every system. If you're using Unity versus GameMaker, everybody has a different way of calling the Steam API. But the benefit is it pulls up the in-browser thing for Steam. And the reason you want to do this is Steam knows that you're logged in. You can only play the game being logged in. If you open a browser, they might have to log in. So we know it's nice and easy to wishlist. So you want to pull up the page using the overlay button. Just search it on Steam. Just Google how to open the API, Steam API overlay. That's what you want to do. You want to call it that way. Okay. Finally, tip 8, add your cat. This is some old shareware. This is an old shareware for solitaire. Okay, it was called Pretty Good Solitaire. Their call to action at the end of their thing is like, I hope you enjoyed the game. This is after you beat the solitaire demo. We're a 2-person business, help feed our cats, and then they showed a picture of their cat, and then it says, buy Pretty Good Solitaire now. I didn't talk to this developer, but this is in the book, an anecdote from the book. This is what he said in the book. It was pretty crazy how much that worked because you would get comments, the cat, but including your cat in the buy screen. I don't know how much money that picture of my cat made, but a lot. Probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is Thomas Warfield from Pretty Good Solitaire. So include a picture of a cat. People love cats on the internet. Might help your thing. So that's Pretty Good Solitaire. That's how they did it on the demo. Okay. Now here's a funnel that I talked about. So when people play their demo, you go from awareness of your game, you play the demo, and then become interest. There's a side thing you can do, whereas if somebody becomes a fan of this demo and they're like, wow, this game's great, I love this, you can say, hey, the game is not ready yet. You have the wish list, you're like, wish list the game for when it's ready. If you're a good developer who's made lots of other games, you can use your demo to go funnel fans to buy your other games. Because they're like, I'd love to buy this now if it was available. But the next best thing, since I can't buy this game, is I'll buy their older games. So direct people who are playing your demo to your old games to go buy the old ones. And this happens in Regency Solitaire. Jake Burkett does this. You'll notice he has a button that says more games. This is on his demo. You just push the more games button, it pulls this thing up and it tells them about your other games. You could be making money today from your demo. This is a great thing, building it right into there. So do it. You're gonna make money today from your demo. It's awesome. All right, here's how to market a demo. All right. There's a big change on Steam. It's called the email. All right. It's the email change. They added this button, and for some reason the button didn't come through. There's the button when you launch your demo. This is new. This is all experimental. Steam just updated how their algorithm works. Okay. There's this button that shows up when you launch your demo, and you can push it, and it says email everybody who wishlisted the game. Okay. It's a big button that you can push within 2 weeks after you launch your game. This is huge. You can only push this once. If you've already launched your demo way before this change, I'm sorry, folks. That's life. You don't get this option. But if you're launching a demo now, you can push that button and then everybody gets notified about your demo going live. It's a huge way to get free visibility. This is awesome. This is awesome of Valve doing this. And the reason you want to push this button is you get a bunch of people to come see your game. Everybody who wishlisted it before you had a demo gets notified. And then hopefully they're all like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that game. I want to play that demo. They play it. And Steam has a thing where if enough people are playing it, and don't ask me, I don't know what the metric is. It's a new feature, so I don't know the metrics yet. I'll be asking in a survey pretty soon. But if you get enough people to play your demo, your free demo, you'll show up on this chart. There's this chart called the trending free. You will get on trending free. See this? How I just pulled this today. You'll see this. These games show up here. These are demos. See, it's got this little demo banner. It'll show up on this list. This is huge visibility. Here's one game that did get it. You can see they launched their demo, and then enough people played the demo that it got a new and trending, and you can see how much of a spike that brought in. Brought in hundreds and hundreds of wish lists because they showed up on this new and trending free widget. Okay, it's huge. You want to get on this widget, but just because you launch a demo doesn't guarantee you get on this widget. Okay, Let me find it. Just because you got on this widget doesn't, there's no guarantee. Just because you launch your demo doesn't mean you're going to get on this. You have to have, there's some bar of players. I don't know what it is. Don't ask. Don't ask. You don't want to miss out on this. This is a huge visibility thing. So don't just launch your demo. You have to build a big campaign around it. You have to get tons of wish lists leading into it. And I'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So be very careful about launching your demo. This is new. I used to say, if you watch some of my old videos or read all my old blogs, I used to be, yeah, throw that demo up, see how it does. And if it doesn't work, take it down. That's not true anymore. Not true anymore because of this. Now you have to be very strategic about when you launch your demo, because you only get to do this once. You only get on this list once, and it happens within the first couple days of you launching your demo. It's very careful. Heed my words. Be careful with launching your demo. Okay. So here's the button. I just included it in a different place. So when you launch your demo, you set it live. There's a button you push to set it live. There's this big green button that allows you to push it. You can push it within 2 weeks. And what this does is email the wish listers. So the general meta strategy is you should have a ton of wish lists before you launch your demo, so that you then push this button, and then everybody who's like, oh, gets notified, plays your demo, and that action propels you onto the new and trending free list. That's how it works. That's the answer. The other change is even followers of you and your publisher get notified. So big publishers like Hooded Horse, my favorite publisher, they have 37,000 followers. Even if a person didn't even know your game exists, but they follow Hooded Horse, you just click this button and they're following Hooded Horse, they're going to get notified by your game if you're signed by Hooded Horse, because the followers of your publisher get notified. Okay. The other thing is if people follow you. So if you release lots of games, like I keep telling you, release lots of games, you will slowly grow your own, not just you, not your publisher, but you as a studio. People follow you as a studio, they will also get notified. So every game you release, think about this. Every game that you release, every demo that you release will get bigger and bigger and bigger because you've rolled forward all those people that have followed your studio. This is huge. So what you have to do this, folks. Every time I review a Steam page, 90% of people get this wrong. You must create your creator page. Please, please, so I don't have to yell at you when I review your Steam pages sometime. Please set up your creator page, because if you don't create your creator page, just search this, Google on this, Steamworks creator page, figure out how to set this up, because you need to start collecting followers today. Okay. And if you don't set up your creator page, people can't follow you and they can't get that notification when you launch your Steam page. Please, please, folks. every talk, I always beg people to do it, and so few people do. Okay. Here's a typical dev cycle. This is what we used to do in the demo dark ages, right? You'd launch your Steam page, and then 6 months to a year, you'd release it. No demo is boring. All you did was social media. Social media doesn't work very well. Nothing would happen, okay? This is the new change. This is how I recommend, in general, you market your demo. Pre-production, announce your Steam page, and then very quickly, soon after, not at the same time, a little bit later, like a month, 2 months, try your best to get that demo live. Now, I know development's hard. And it is like, well, it's taking us a long time to get that demo. You get that demo live, okay? But here's one more thing. This is one more change. This is the new meta, okay? This is the change from that. Remember how I said you need a lot of wish lists before you set that demo live, because you have to notify people, and you can only do this once. You notify people so you get onto that new and trending list. Here is the newest way of doing it, okay? You want to announce your Steam page, maybe do Kickstarter backer access, and give people access to the demo early, but it's not a demo. You don't publicly make it a demo. You do back channels and stuff like that through Kickstarter. You don't make it public, and you get their feedback and you fix bugs. Then you do a play test. You use the Steam playtest feature. Now, the playtest feature is special because it doesn't do that thing that the demo does, where it's like you get one shot and you show up on new and trending. Playtests do not do that. Playtests do not pull you out of that contention of having that new and trending. So you do a playtest, which is a smaller audience. You're not going to get as much visibility, but you're fixing bugs. And then after you fix a lot of bugs, and you could do several playtests, you could playtest every month or something. These do two things. By doing the Kickstarter backer and the playtest, you're collecting wish lists from all this, because you're doing streamer outreach. And then when you get a bunch of wish lists because you've done these public play tests and your game is good, like you've worked out all the kinks of your demo. Because I'll tell you, folks, the first time you launch your demo, it's going to suck. Okay. It's going to be, you made the tutorial too long. I'm telling you, you made the tutorial too long. I'm just going to tell you now, your tutorial is too long. You put too much dialogue in. People are just skipping through that dialogue. You put too many cutscenes in. After you do all these playtests, you're going to realize, oh my God, Chris was right. We put in too much tutorial. We put in too much dialogue. We went into the backstory of the 7 keys of Amtuzler way too long. We should have cut it down. Maybe not even mention all the 7 keys. Maybe just do like, say there are some keys of Amtuzler and just leave it at that. You're going to do all that. And then when you realize the demo is good, and I'll talk about how to find out if your demo is good, then you launch the demo, then you push the email wish list thing, and then you get into new and trending. That's how you do it. And I kind of recommend you do this well before Steam Next Fest. I kind of think if you launch your demo during Steam Next Fest, you get drowned out. I actually think it's better. I know that I'm going to get this question. I think you should launch the demo considerable. This is imaginary time, but there should be enough time behind this, because even with you wish listing it, you sending out the email, you getting on new and trending, you're still going to find bugs and problems with your demo. You're still going to mention the 7 keys of Amtuzler too much, and you got to cut that stuff out. Too much lore. Cut all that out. Then you're going to have a good demo. Then you can have a good, exciting Steam Next Fest. Okay, it's going to be good. This is what I think. Now, this new demo strategy is new. We're still refining it, but I think this is the best. This is my theory of what's working best. I'll have more data as this settles out and we get more examples. One thing, I know a lot of you are probably in the next Fest and you're like, Chris, we didn't do this. What should we do? Stick with the plan. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change plans. It's too late to change plans. Too late. Okay. But for all of those of you watching and maybe you're planning to do the February Next Fest, which is the next one, I recommend you try and get your demo out. We're talking like months, maybe 2 to 3 months before Steam Next Fest and launches, because you only get one Steam Next Fest. So you want your demo perfect. Okay. You don't want to go out with Steam Next Fest the first time your demo is being played. Okay. So again, here's the sequence in a nice bullet point form. Coming soon page launch, playtest beta, they're the same thing, but you just do this a lot. You get streamers to play your playtest in beta, try and get them. You try and get a lot of wish lists. Then you do more streamers to play just before the official demo launch. This is the big one that you can only do one time. Hopefully, you push the email button. Hopefully, you get onto new and trending free list, and then you keep your demo up forever. This is the sequence. This, I think, is a sequence. Okay. All right. Now, there's one caveat, one star, a side thing. If you're very hot, like your game is so good looking, so interesting, you can get into these big shows like IGN, PC Gamer, Game Awards, Wholesome Direct. Okay. These mega showcases, they will feature you. And what they typically do is they like announcements. So if you're like, we haven't announced our game yet, but IGN, what if we worked out a deal together? What if I got featuring on your next show? I will announce my game as part of their show and I'll launch the demo. And they're like, that sounds awesome. Yeah, come on in. We'll let you in. We're not even going to ask you to pay us $10,000 to get in. PC Gamer Show costs like $30,000. That's a lot. But all these shows, if you're a cool indie with a cool game and you're announcing, sometimes they get you in for free. It's just a secret between you and me, okay? Some of this stuff, if you can do that, if you can pull that off, different rule set. Then what I say, here's a different strategy for that. You do the mega showcase and you do all these at the same time. Coming soon page launch, demo launch, all at the same time, because this page launch during a big show will get you those thousands of wish lists that you need. And so you immediately, like maybe day 2, like within the first 24 hours after you appeared on the show, you push the demo launch button. Streamers also, you queue up the streamers to say, hey, we're going to be in IGN. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're going to be in IGN and we're launching a demo. Would you like to be able to play it? And they're like, yes, tell us exactly when. So you do that, and you do the email button, and you get into new and trending free list. All this happens within like the first 24, 48 hours. You compress all this stuff because this is huge visibility. And then you keep your demo up forever. But you only do this if you got onto one of these shows. This is a special rule if you're a super cool indie, but you have to be super cool to do this, okay? That's one variation on this strategy, okay? All right. And so you heard me say like play test and betas. You can do a lot of marketing with alpha beta gamer and streamers and stuff saying, hey, this is a beta. It's not your demo yet. You haven't done the big demo button. You can get a lot of visibility. That's why I say you can use these playtests and betas to get wish lists so that you have a big backlog of wish lists. So when you push that email wish listers button, it's very effective. If you launch your Steam page and then immediately launch the demo, you may only get like 100 wish lists. So that email is not very effective. You push the email button and it goes up to like 100 people. That sucks. That sucks. That's taking away the power of it. You've got to do some of this pre-marketing with your beta to get that wish list count up high before you push that email button. Okay. Now, one of the other things you can do is, how I talk about these online festivals. You can apply for these festivals, and they always ask a question. A lot of the good festivals will ask a question like this when you're doing your application. Okay. I'll say, hey, are you going to propose anything for this? Are you going to do anything cool for this festival? Check one of these. Are you going to give us an exclusive trailer? Like, are you going to make a new trailer for our festival? Are you going to do gameplay? New announcement, exclusive news? What exclusive thing are you going to do for us? Because you help market the festival. So they want to see if you're going to do something. You should definitely check this and say, you are going to get the first exposure of my demo. This is hot. A lot of festivals will be more willing to let you in if you say, hey, we got something big for you all. We're giving away our demo. This will be the first time people can play the demo. And then the streamer and then the festival organizers are like, oh, let's let this guy in. This guy's he's going to launch a demo for our festival. We should definitely let him in. And then let him in if you get in. So always do these things. Always check all these boxes. You can always do the things later if you get into the show, but yeah, I highly recommend them. So essentially what you're doing is you're trading exclusivity for early access to streamers and coverage. So you can go to a streamer and you can say, hey, do you want to be the first person to play our demo? It's a hot demo. Everyone was asking about it. You get to be the first one. So a lot of streamers will be like, yeah, we want to do that. We'll play your demo before anybody else. And so they'll cover you in exchange for being the first one. It's a hot thing. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of people do this. They create their Discord. I don't know why people always want to create Discords. I'm not a fan of Discord. People want to create their Discord right away. Even before they announce their Steam page, they want to create their Discord. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like this timeline because nobody wants to talk about screenshots. So it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this on your Discord. Okay. You're going to be like, join my Discord. And then some kid who's wandering by and is like, what is your game? I don't know. You join your Discord. They come into your Discord and they're like, where is everybody? What the? There's nothing here. Hello, where is everybody? Your Discord's empty. Discords are only fun when there's a lot of people. So you get this ball pit energy in your Discord. Nobody wants to talk about screenshots in a Discord. Okay, they just don't. So hold on your Discord. Keep it back. So do your pre-production, announce your Steam page, and then do your Discord just before you put your demo live. Just before, okay? Because then it's exciting. Because fans can chat when they have something to play. They don't talk about screenshots. They're like, hey, how did you all beat the boss? What's the best build? What's the best card build for this deck builder? They like to talk about gameplay, and they only talk once they've played. So I always recommend launch your Discord when you launch your demo. Don't do it before. Don't do it before. You're just wasting that connection because people go in and they're like, oh, nobody's here. I'm just going to leave this Discord. And then they'll just leave because nothing is going on. Hold your Discord because then it's a party when your game is live. Okay. All right. So then people ask, should I take my demo down? And a lot of people will do this. They'll get into a festival, they'll put their demo up, and then they'll pull their demo after the festival and then keep it down. And then they get into another festival, they put their demo up for the festival and then take it down. Then do this, put it up and down. This is terrible. Don't do this. Don't do this. This is how streamers work. This is why you should not put your demo up, pull it, put it up, pull it. So they put you're in a festival, you put your demo up, some rando plays it. Okay. And they're like, this game is good. This demo is good. So they tell their favorite streamer on their favorite streamer's Discord and they say, you should play this game. It is so fun. You would like it. So then the streamer goes and they check out the demo and they're like, yeah, you know what? I think people would like this. And so then they play your demo on their stream. And then remember, other fan watches their stream and says, whoa, this is good. And then they play the demo and they like it and they wishlist it. This takes weeks. This interaction between a fan, a streamer, a video, and then another fan. This is a weeks-long process, okay? It is not quick. If you put your demo up, some random fan plays it, tells their favorite streamer, you got to play this demo. It's so good. Then the streamer goes and he's like, it's not up. They pulled it. This is you failed. This is you failing. Do not pull your demo. You just short-circuited this awesome process. This is good. This is bad. You do not want to short circuit that process. You need to keep your demo up for a long time. It just takes time for a streamer to play a game, make a video, edit it, upload it to YouTube. And a lot of YouTubes, they don't start getting popular for 60 days. The YouTube algorithm is a slow burn, okay? You got to keep that demo up, okay? There are times when streamers will put stuff out on Twitter. They're like, hey, I'm looking for games to play. Can you email me a game that's really cool? If your demo's not up, you can't participate in this. You got to keep your demo up, okay? This is Dome Keeper. Back then it was called Dome Romantic. They kept their demo up for months. A streamer played it, and then they stopped playing it. And then it kind of cooled. And then another streamer found it, and then they stopped playing it. And then another streamer played it, and then another streamer played it. This is over a month. At what point would you pull that demo? Would you pull it? Would you have pulled it at this moment? You would have missed out on all this. See, if you pull your demo, you're missing out on the options of these people playing your demo. So keep that demo up. Keep it up. Here's an editor for PC Gamer. I actually emailed this guy. I was like, what's your thoughts on demos? He said, there's no practical value to that many demos in that short span. Why don't devs leave their demo up? He's talking about Next Fest. There's too many games on Next Fest. They can't play them all. Time-limited demos may have some small PR value because they force a relatively short sudden spike in demo plays. But what's the real value to gamers who aren't solidly committed to your game to start with? Even the editor who you want to cover your game is saying keep that demo up because there's just not enough time. There's 3,000 games going to be in the Next Fest. There's no chance most of these people are going to have time to play your demo. They're just not going to happen. So I understand why you want to keep you don't want to do it. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want, but keep it up, folks. Just keep it up. All right. Now, let's talk about the new rules for Steam Next Fest. Now, this is a big disclaimer. I don't know how Steam Next Fest is going to be. They decided to change the rules this year. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm reading between the lines. Valve has done some announcements. They did some videos like, we're going to change Steam Next Fest. And I quoted their official statements here. It says, when players first come to the Next Fest, the experience will be that Next Fest is going to recommend them games based on their tags on these games and how they relate to the other games they've been playing. As we get a bit further into Next Fest and we start to see more data about those random games, they have started wishlisting them and they started playing the demos, which are the ones that people are responding more positively to. Then those might be amplified in some sort of way within Next Fest. Okay, here's what this means. This is kind of like Steam PR talk. Here's what I think is going to happen in Next Fest. Okay. So the first day or two of Steam Next Fest is going to be totally random. There's going to be like no featuring or anything. It's like every game is going to get like, who knows, like 100,000 impressions. I don't know what the number is. Don't quote me, but they're going to get like some chunk of impressions or views. Okay. Valve is just going to get everybody the same amount. And then Valve is going to watch. They're going to be like, how good is this demo doing? How many people go onto wishlists? I don't know what the metric's going to be. It's probably going to be concurrent players and wishlists. Those are their two favorite metrics. And if they see those two numbers are good, they're going to say, remember when they said a little bit further in the Next Fest. So maybe this is day 3 or day 4. Who knows? The store's going to change and they're going to hide all the games with terrible concurrent user counts and games where people played it and they're like, ugh, and they didn't wishlist it. Steam knows. You can't fool Steam. They know whether people are playing it and wishlisting it. So they hide the games that don't perform, and they're going to bring up the games that do perform. This is awesome. This means if you make a good game, you are going to get visibility. You can't game it. And see, what I think they were doing in the old Next Fest is people could buy their way to the front of Next Fest. It was a little hard, but you could buy a bunch of ads, and if you got a ton of wish lists, the days before Next Fest, they'd put you on the front page and you were there forever. It wasn't fair. The bigger players could pull this off. The smaller players couldn't. But if you're a small player, with a decent game, I think this is a very positive development. The downside is you have to have a fun game. I'm sorry, you got to make a game that's fun and it's good. And if your game doesn't perform well on day 3, 4, 5, it means your game, for whatever reason, didn't connect. And I'm sorry, but that's the game. That's the game we're playing. Is that you have to make a game that's fun. God damn it. Unfortunately, we have to have fun. So my thing is, this is why I say Steam Next Fest should not be the first chance people play your demo, because your first demo is always going to suck. You're going to talk too much about the 7 keys of Amtula. The cutscenes are too long. You forgot to put a checkpoint save somewhere. You want to work out all those bugs way before Next Fest. That's why I'm saying this playtest, this demo, way before Next Fest. Steam Next Fest should be the last thing you do before you launch your game. Okay, the last Next Fest before you launch, because you want your game to be perfect, because you've got to deal with this algorithm where a lot of people are like, oh, this game's fun, I'm going to keep playing it, or oh, this game's trash, and they stop playing it, and then Steam doesn't recommend you. This is my theory on how the new Steam algorithm is going to work. Okay. So again, Steam Next Fest should not be the first time you have people play your demo. It should be perfect by the time you do Steam Next Fest. Okay. How to know if you have a good demo? I say, oh, I have a good demo. What is it? How do you know? Okay. A good demo turns fans into super fans. A bad demo turns people who would have liked your game, but they're like, ugh, way too much exposition, too much about the 7 keys of M2. I don't know why they care about the 7 keys so much. Ugh, gross. So this is what you want to do. You got to be a plumber. You got to figure out where the leak is. Why are people going this way and not in the good side? Okay, we're going to figure it out. Be a plumber. What I recommend is hooking up analytics to your demo, either Google Analytics, I think Unity has analytics, all the packages have some sort of analytics built into them. Add this stuff. And what you're looking to do, if you don't have it, Steam does give you some metrics automatically. If you go to Steamworks products and then go to your demo, they will tell you what your median playtime is. But it's not perfect. If you've been playtesting your beta or your demo for months and months and months, I think it's a rolling average. So even if you fixed it, it's a just like modulated. What am I thinking of? It's just combined into one giant pile. So you don't get that fine detail like, hey, we improved our demo a lot. Is our median playtime better? This is just a glob of a whole bunch of data. If you have your own analytics package, you can filter and you can say, hey, we only want to look at the median playtime of how well we did after we made this big change to our demo. That's what you want. Okay. The other thing you can do is add checkpoints within your analytics to see what percentage of players have gotten through your demo. This is, again, this game called Do Not Buy This Game. They were awesome. The game's a series of button presses throughout. They added analytics so they could see, hey, did we have a major drop off between button 1 and button 2? And you see how this big drop off? Their analytics told them, oh, there's a bug in our game where this button didn't press. So they fixed it. And you'll notice after that, the every button press is a different bar. It's pretty consistent. And then all of a sudden there's a big story quit moment, which is kind of funny. But then they realized after adding all this stuff, they hooked up analytics to the final click. 38% of people who played the demo clicked the wishlist button. That's great. That is actually really good. This is a good number. Okay. But you want to add those analytics so that you can tell, like, oh man, we talked about the 7 keys of Amtula too much, and we had this huge drop off in people doing this. This is what you want to find out. How far do people get through the demo? Add checkpoints throughout your demo and add analytics to them so that you can report where people are dropping off. This is smart. You should definitely do this. Okay. But you should also look at soft data, do in-person play tests, read forums about your game, surveys, bug reports, all that stuff. Embed a survey. This is a really hot thing. Just have a button right under the wishlist button that says, take our survey. If you go to this link, I have an example survey that you can do, how to demo. Death Trash. That's that game that had a really good demo. They had a bug report form right in there. That's awesome. Okay. So what is normal? I said, you should have a median playtime. I think median playtime is the best metric. I did a survey where I asked a bunch of developers what their demo is. Each bar is a different game. They reported what their median playtime was. I found that the median was 12, but the games that did the best were the games that had longer median playtimes. I think if you want to do well, you want at least 25-minute median. People always go, what about average? Average is swayable. You want to look at the median playtime. And I think you should do at least 25 minutes. I do at least 60, though. The games that do well on Steam are the ones that have long playtimes. People on Steam love long games. This is just from June 2021, the Steam Next Fest. I saw games that had about 20 minutes. That was kind of normal. That was a medium playtime. There's a huge spike in this game that had a long medium playtime. Now, a lot of people say, well, we're making a linear game. What they're going to be shorter, right? Not really. Linear games did just as well. In my survey data, when I was surveying for how well demos did, I asked, is this a linear narrative game or is this like a sandbox game? I sorted just the linear game data. The median was still like, I'd still say over 20 minutes for even for a narrative game. All right. The games that got the most wish lists, much longer median playtime, because if they really like your narrative, they will play it multiple times, and that increases your median playtime longer than it is just to play the demo. Get it? So it's like if it's a 15-minute story demo, there were people that had like 20-minute median playtimes because people would play the story over and over because they love the story so much. Okay. A replayable game did have longer median playtimes. Again, the top third was about 30 minutes almost. And it can go really high if it's a replayable game. Really high. Okay. So here's what it is. This is the data. I'm not going to read it all to you, but really, again, we're looking at the top of these. Really, it's like 20 to 30 minutes. This is what you want. 70th percentile. The best games were right around 20, 25 minutes. That's what you want. You got to have long play times. Okay, why you shouldn't do one. Here's Scarlet Hollow, 90-minute playing time, narrative game. I talked to the developers. They said, well, maybe it was a little too long. But they did see that there was about 33% traffic post over to their paid episodes. So, yeah. Tanya X Short of Kit Fox Games had this quote: unless you have the resources to make a totally different standalone experience, linear narrative games just shouldn't have a demo. I also wonder if more experimental games shouldn't. If people are primarily buying your game for innovation and novelty, then any demo could ruin that USP. So I agree with this about experimental games. Like if your game has a gimmick where it's like once they play the gimmick, people are like, oh, I get the game. Yeah. It's like a joke game. I wouldn't do a demo. Like if it's a short joke game, don't do a demo because you spoiled the joke when they play it. Like once they play it, they get it. Don't do it. But for most games, I'd say like 90% of games, a demo is better. Okay. When should you worry about your demo? If your median playtime is less than 10 minutes, if the number of plays is greater than the number of wish lists, and the analytics show there's a steep decline at key moments, that's when you should worry. You should fix your demo, figure out what's wrong. Maybe your game has an awful demo. I don't know. You got to use analytics to look at this stuff. Okay, here's a final thing. This is from Seamus McNally. Again, Longbow Games. Fortunately, this guy passed. You should really study this guy. He's one of the original indies, fundamental to the indie sphere way before. That's why they named the award after this guy, Seamus McNally. McNally says if a game is not really catching on, no matter how, this is a quote from him, no matter how hard it's pushed and how promoted, probably means this is not that good. Or at least the learning curve is too steep for people to get into it. Okay. Basically, make more games. Your first game's going to fail. And a demo is a great way to figure out, is this game like catching with people? And if it's not, release the game. Put it out there and start on your next one. And then another one and another one. Your first game is always going to fail most of the time. Okay. So don't give up, folks. Please, please, please. You're going to make more games. We're all learning. This is hard. I'm going to flip it over to questions. I'm going to answer a couple questions that I know I'm going to get. Should I make a separate demo page? This is a new thing for your thing. You can do a separate demo page or attach your demo to the game. I don't know. I don't have enough data for it. Maybe if you have a really good game, if your game's good, because you can open up reviews. If you're very confident that people are excited about your game, I'd open up reviews. I think it's a cool feature. People could see it and it could even boost your demo more. You can always pull that. You can pull reviews so that they can't review it anymore. If it goes bad, if it turns out there's really buggy and people are hating on your game, you can pull it. I would try it if you're confident about your game. I'd do a separate demo page with reviews open. I would. Then you say, what's normal for, like, what's a normal click-through rate or whatever? Go. I've got all that data on howtomarketagame.com/benchmarks. So don't ask about the what's normal. I've got all that answered here. Should I do early access or a demo? People always ask this one. You should do a demo. Listen, early access is your launch. That is not a place to get feedback. Early access is not like, hey, we're just testing to see if we like our game. We're testing to see if people like it. We'll do early access. We're just going to put it out there, a little flavor taste of early access. No, early access is your launch. Okay. That's your launch. So here's what I say. Do a beta, then do a demo to get feedback. Don't use EA just to, get some feedback, see what people think. That's not where you do it. Okay. Those are the common questions I always get. But yeah. Okay. So question time. I'm going to answer questions. So pop them in. While you're doing this, while you're waiting for your question to be answered, head over to harmonicagame.com/free to get your free book. Remember, don't be this poo. Be this poo. You want to be the poo that signs up for the newsletter. This is where the real stuff happens. This is where the real hardcore research. This is just the fun times. If you're serious and you want to wear a suit, join the mailing list. All right, with that, I'm going to answer all the questions. So go for it. I'm here to answer as many questions. I'm not leaving.
Thanks so much, Chris, for your talk. I think it was a great example that you definitely earned your spot right next to the moms of the devs in the credits. And I think our audience thinks so too if I look into the chat. You did actually predict a couple of the questions and already answered them, which was pretty cool. But of course, we have more. Also, people in the chat, if you haven't had your question answered yet, please put it into the chat. This is your time now. One question that was asked by Andrews was, is it better to release my demo once it's already polished, or is it okay to post the demo and then update it?
In the old way, I would say just post the demo. In the new way, because you only get one demo launch to show up on that new and trending, you want to be careful. So what I would do is, I like your attitude of let's just put it out to get feedback. Do it as a play test. Search the Steam playtest feature and do it as a play test, or do it as a closed beta, but you want to do it without doing a demo first. Then once you've patched it, fixed it, you're getting some attention, you're getting some wish lists, then do the demo launch and treat it like a launch. It's a launch. You want to get streamers lined up. You want to do all the stuff, push the email button. You want to get onto that new and trending. You don't want to miss that visibility from the new and trending. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, maybe that's a good fit. You already answered the question if you recommend having a demo as a separate page or not with the new Steam features that are available now. But one additional question was, do you recommend to release the demo page and the demo together at the same time, or would you have the page up first?
We're still figuring that out. We don't know. I haven't seen good data anyway. I don't know. Use all the visibility you can get. Maybe do two. My default is to think, use the feature where you put a separate demo page and do it right away. You want to get as much out there as possible.
All right. And we have a couple of questions regarding the design of the demo, the first part or the second part of your presentation. Do you have any specific tips for roguelike demos, specifically the amount of content to include? The person asking says he's struggling for the balance between really selling the game and leaving the player wanting more.
Yeah, so here's what I would do is, again, I'm not a game designer. You gotta study the game design. Here's what I do. Play a lot of demos. Go every day on Steam, look for roguelikes, like go pull up Steam every single day, go over to the free tab, see what new roguelikes are coming up. Also play a bunch of roguelikes. A lot of people are leaving their demo up, which is good, even after launch. I'll answer that question in a second. Play their demos, see what they do. My thought for a roguelike game, the best type of demo, what I see all the time, because I play a lot of demos, is you do one loop. Because usually roguelikes are like, there's one dungeon and there's a boss, and if you die, you have to do that whole dungeon over again. Or there's like 3 dungeons. Typically, there's like 3 dungeons with 3 bosses. You do the first loop. And I would make my demo a little bit more than just the base game. In other words, like, you know how the first dungeon, you don't get all the power-ups and stuff? I would add more power-ups in that first dungeon than you would have in the full game, just because you don't want your game to be boring. You only have 30 minutes. So I would front load, add a little bit more power-ups in the beginning that you would normally have if you had the full game. So give them 1 dungeon with 1 boss, but allow them. This is the power of roguelikes, is they're very fun to play over and over again because there's like different combinations. You could do like a tech build or a magic build or, you know, like a rogue build. There's like several different builds that you can do. That is the fun of roguelikes. And that is the power of a demo, because a roguelike can be played over and over. And that's like Peglin, because you could do different builds, do different power-ups, opt for those. And so you want to provide enough content so that a streamer especially, or fans, can play that demo over and over and over using different builds and different strategies. But it's still just like one boss, maybe one character. And then the full game is lots of characters, lots of bosses, lots of environments. That's how I do it. But I only know this not because I'm a great game designer, but because I've played a bunch of demos. So all of you, here's the thing. I am telling you all to go play video games, okay? Go onto Steam, play a lot of games, take notes, do the research, sort by your genre to find other games that are doing well, that have good demos. That's your homework. Go play video games.
We will definitely do that. We had another question. I know you said that demos could be drowned out too close to next fest. What about the themed fest?
Yeah, so there's a couple other fests. So one of the ones are themed festivals, like you know, there's sometimes they have like City Builder Fest, and they're official Valve ones. I would not launch my demo specifically for that festival if you're not ready, because the reason is those festivals that are like open to everybody who's making a city builder or whatever genre, they're very big. There's so many games in there. You usually get drowned out. A lot of those festivals you can get in without a demo. And if you're not quite ready, I wouldn't rush to get my demo out for that festival, because it doesn't make that much difference whether you have a demo or not. So to say, because I see a lot of games that they're not that hot. They're trying to get that first visibility, and those themed festivals just don't do much for them. Still participate, but don't rush your demo to get in time for those. Instead, I still think the best policy is work as hard as one of the first things you should be doing in your development is trying to get that demo out. Prioritize that nice and early, because you want that demo nice and early, and then just ride that demo wave for as long as you can. Keep that demo up. And in that case, yes, it is good to go into those theme festivals. Now, the other question is, there are specific festivals put on by third-party organizations. Like one of the examples I put was Tiny Teams. Those are much smaller, much more curated. In that case, if you do get into one of those, I would prioritize a demo, because saying you can get in, like I said, you can get accepted into those smaller personalized festivals because you have a demo. You can say, we're going to release our demo if you let us into your festival. And then those organizers are like, yes, this is awesome. We'll let you in. So there's ones like The Mix, Tiny Teams, Day of the Devs. These are the smaller, more exclusive ones. And so your competition is much smaller, and you can go much further. So I would prioritize launching a demo with those smaller, more curated festivals, not the big ones where everybody who has a city builder can get in. Those don't get you that much visibility. Okay.
All right. We have a lot of questions pouring in now. We'll just try to fit in as much as we can. Space Game Studio is asking, can a demo be too long? Like 2 hours, is it too long? He has a slow pace, tense, long game.
If it's a long game, then 2 hours isn't that bad. I still just think that 30 minutes is the hot sweet spot. As long as your game isn't 3 hours and your demo is 2 hours, that is bad. But try it. And here's the thing, hook up the analytics. Every game's different. Try, experiment. If you're finding people drop off at a half an hour, change your demo, shorten it up. It's a lot of experimentation. It's art, not science. So test it, try it, adjust. Do it.
All right. A quick, very practical question. Is there an approval process for demos on Steam, or can we just iterate it as much as we want?
No, there is an approval process, but it's like one approval process where they just check to make sure you're not a Bitcoin miner or something, doing something nefarious. And then once you pass that one, every subsequent one is much lighter review. They don't do that much of a check. So try and get that first one approved, and then iterate. I think if you upload a huge change, they will review it again. If you've got like a huge increase in the size of the data file, they're going to be like, what's going on here? Or the binary, then they're going to look into it. But it's just the first one that's the hard one to get over.
One more question from John. Any thoughts on influence marketing initiatives such as Keymailer or Lurkit? Do you recommend to use them for your demo or just early access?
They don't work very well. Keymailer and Lurkit and all those. The best thing is you got to do the hard work. Reach out to streamers directly. And I actually wrote about this in howtomarketagame.com. They're just making money off of you because people are too afraid to go knock on the door of a streamer and say, hey, can you play my game? If it's easy, it probably doesn't work very well. So what I would recommend, create a list of 300 streamers. I did not say that wrong. 300 at least of streamers that play games just like yours, and reach out one by one, email them and say, I'm making a game similar to this other one you played. Would you like to play it? And go through that whole list. That's what it takes. And I would do it. Keymailer and Move It. They don't do very much. They just don't. And they cost you money, which sucks.
That's definitely true. One question that's not too much demo related, but maybe you do have a quick opinion on that. What are your thoughts on localized prices, like selling the game cheaper to countries that have a weaker economy compared to US and EU, like Brazil?
We're not economists, and it's complicated figuring out currency conversions. I would just let the Steam default go. At least then if you get it wrong, you're like, I don't know, that's Steam. I'm a game designer. I'm not an economist. And then you can blame Steam for it. But if you start monkeying with the prices, then people are going, well, why is this country cheaper than this one? That's your fault. And it's your fault. So then you're like, oh, now you own it. I just say, just let Steam figure out. They have literally economists at Valve to do this for you. And you're paying them 30%. This is what you're paying them for. So let them figure it out. Why take on their work? Say, Valve, you figure it out.
That's true. More demo-related question. I've launched my game in early access. My analytics showed that not many people played it. Should I continue and release a demo and make a final launch? Will it still be Steam?
Wait, could you repeat that one more time? I just want to make sure I get this scenario right.
Yes, the person has launched their game in early access. My analytics showed that not many people played it. Should I continue and release demos and make a final launch? Will it still be seen?
Yeah. So your early access launch is your launch, pretty much. And this is the thing. I don't like early access. I'll just tell everybody, I think it's too risky. It's just when you launch in early access, that's your launch. And I've done analysis that says that for the most part, things don't improve. I hate to say it. Search my blog for early access. I did some analysis. If you don't reach within your first month, like 200 reviews within your first month, you're basically stuck with that. It doesn't improve to go to 1.0 for the most part. Now, it sounds like you may have not done some marketing, which means, like, I think every game should at least have a demo before they launch, which sounds like you didn't do much marketing before you did EA launch. So it could be that your game is an untold gem out there, but more likely than not, I've studied I've studied every single early access. I did a data scrape, and that's where I came up with that number where it's like, if you don't hit 200 reviews within the first month of early access, your 1.0 does no better. I would release a demo, reach out to 300 streamers, just like I told that other caller, try to get people to play that demo. If it still doesn't take up, polish it up, send off the game, and make your second game. Everybody's first game fails. It just happens. Finish it, go to 1.0, say, thank you for your service, game. I'll see you on the other side. That sounds really dark, but you just go to the next game. And you retire it and you learn your lessons, and then you make a third game, and then that one's going to fail, and you make a fourth game, and that one fails, and then you make a fifth game. It is hard to make games, folks. You got to release more games. So tough it out and good luck.
One more question about timing. What if we publish the game's demo page along with the announcement of the game itself? Will it bring additional visibility, or should we do so in 1 to 2 months ahead of the demo?
This is one I don't know yet because this new second demo page is so new. I don't know. My thought is, yeah, sure, publish the demo page at the same time as the thing. If Valve creates it, I have a feeling it's not going to hurt you. So try both. That's my bet. Until I have more data, that's my my safest bet is to do both at the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how those new demo features turn out for sure. You mentioned streamers a lot. Somebody's asking, would we be reaching out to streamers versus YouTubers, or are they similar in effectiveness?
That streamers is my general term for some doofus that plays video games on the internet. It's just like somebody who just like is like, I'm playing this game. I just call those generally streamers. It's YouTubers, Twitchers, TikTokers, anybody who plays a video game online. I just call them streamers. So some people get real particular about the YouTube versus Twitch and bit about, but it's just people who play video games on the internet. That's what I mean by streamers. It's just so that every time I don't have to say streamers and YouTubers and TikTokers, I just say streamers.
There's actually a question. I don't know if I understand it correctly, but maybe you do, Chris. Is there any difference in the median number of horror game demos?
Say that one more time.
Is there any difference in the median number of horror game demos? I'm not quite sure what the median number references to.
Oh, maybe they're asking the median playtime for horror demos. Linear, that was, it was picked up in the data that I did for the linear games. I think I had some horror games in that linear game, so it's like 20 minutes or so. It's the same, but yeah, it's usually the median playtime's 25. Like in general, if I see a 25-minute median playtime, I'm like, that's pretty good. But if I see an hour median playtime, I'm like, you are very good. Again, add that analytics and checkpoint data. It sounds like maybe your numbers are a little softer for your playtime. Add the checkpoints in where you get analytics of like, hey, how many doors do they go through this horror game? And if you find they just all drop off because they're like, man, this monster is not scary. Like you add analytics and there's like a jump scare and then everybody's like, that's the worst you got. And then they leave. Then you know, oh God, our monster's not scary. Our jump scares aren't scary enough. We should kind of crank those up. You do the analytics to figure out why people are dropping out. That's up to you, and use those analytics and some softer data, like interview people who played it and say like, hey, what did you think about the game? That's how you patch this sort of stuff.
One more interesting question. Any feedback about broadcasting in your demo? When you went to broadcast, anything specific to broadcast?
I think you mean for Steam Next Fest. It doesn't matter. Valve deprioritized that stuff. So it's, you used to like pick, oh, when are we going to be featured stream? And people would just game it and it didn't do much. And developers hate being on camera. They just do. It's kind of, and I think Valve was like, wait, why do we make developers be on camera? They hate that stuff. So my thought is, you don't have to do it, but you're giving Valve 30%. You might as well do it. Valve's like, hey, you're paying us 30%. Here's this feature. And then devs are like, do I really need to do this feature? I was like, you're paying them for that feature. You might as well use it. So I say just do a 30-minute loop of you playing your game. Be charming as best as you can. 30 minutes you play in the game. Put it up. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't help. It does. Steam deprioritized it, but hell, you're giving them all this money. You're giving them 30% of your profits. You might as well pull it. I'm going to use them for every penny. That should be your attitude. Like, what? You give me that feature? Of course I'm going to use that feature. You give me that feature? Of course I'm going to use that feature. Use your money that you're giving them. So use it. Take it from them.
All right, and you already answered questions about having a separate store page for the demo or not, but somebody asks, do you recommend that, having a separate page? It seems the main difference is that separate pages can be reviewed. Do you see any other differences?
We just don't know. We just don't have enough data. But it kind of goes back to the Steam, like, Steam's like, we're going to give you a separate page which can get reviews. Take it from them. Say, yeah, of course we're going to do it. I'm paying for this. I'm going to use it. Use everything. Eat everything on your food plate. Eat it. And if your reviews are bad, pull it.
All right. And yeah, maybe one of the last questions. Somebody would like to learn about the 7 keys and asks, where can I learn more about that?
Okay. In the land of Visragoth, in the land of misty mountains, there were the 7 keys of Amtuzler distributed among the 12 knights of the 4 round tables of the 3. I'm just kidding. I could do this all day. I just, in general, folks, I joke, but I'm not a big fan in your marketing of going deep into lore with these weird names that have the hyphens and stuff. I know my thought is lore is good once they've bought the game, but I always joke about the 7 Keys of Amtuzler because I see some marketing and it's just like I can't even make sense of it. And there's like a colon and then like this long name, and it's just so much lore that people really, when they want to see your game, and this is why demos are great, they just want to know what genre it is. Like, what is this game? Like, what how do I play? What do I control? They want to know the genre and they want to know what you do in the game. That's it. You don't have to do a deep lore dump on the 7 Keys of Amtuzler. Just get to the game. I should make a game called 7 Keys of Amtuzler sometime, but you won't see it in the marketing.
And maybe as a last question, I don't know we didn't cover all of them, but our time is pretty much up, and I tried to pick out the questions that were differentiated the most. So for our last question, giving content creators a pre-release version of a game while there's a free demo available, is it a bad idea? Shall they just play the demo and not confuse viewers, or having that exclusivity is better?
Well, kind of what you're doing when I say that is like, okay, maybe 1 week before the demo, before you make it live, you give that demo to the streamer so they can play it, and then they'll say, like, the streamers are like, hey, I'm playing an exclusive preview. They'll know. So players are like, oh, okay, it's an exclusive preview. And then they go to your store page, and then you have a big post on there that says demo coming soon. And you're doing all this stuff because, remember that email, the wish listers, you want to get wish lists, a lot of wish lists before you launch your demo. And so part of the reason you're doing that preview and the stuff like that is so that you get those wish lists before the demo goes live. That's why you're doing it.
All
and
right,
players are going to get mad at you no matter what. Steam players just like to be mad. I don't know why. People on the internet, when you spend enough time on the internet, you just get mad. I don't know why. So just expect to get people mad to be mad at you. I don't know why.
Not enough cats. So I think we're at the end. Just before we finish, shout out to the person who posted to the chat. I'm awake at 3 a.m. on my birthday to watch this. We love the commitment. And happy birthday to you. And Chris,
this is going to be recorded, right? This is going on YouTube. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm not that good. Hopefully it's like you're up on your birthday at 3 a.m. because you just came back from a big party or something.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I hope that's the case. I hope you just feel like you stumbled in, you're bleary-eyed, having a big birthday celebration. There's like cake on your face. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Yeah, all of you people out there, thank you so much for staying with us, for asking your questions, for giving us feedback. Thanks so much, Chris. Yes, there's
sign up for the book. This is the good stuff, not this. This is good, but this is better.
True. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice evening or day, depending on where you are on birthday night, and hope to see you soon again on the Gamecity XP Boost. Bye.